What if your thoughts could literally redesign your entire life? Imagine having the power to heal your body, transform your circumstances, and manifest the life you've always dreamed of, not through wishful thinking, but through scientifically proven methods that harness the incredible power of your mind. The latest research at the intersection of neuroscience, quantum physics, and human potential is revealing something extraordinary. Your mind isn't merely observing reality, it's actively creating it. The thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, and the beliefs you hold are shaping your experience in ways more profound than most people ever realize. For centuries, ancient wisdom traditions have claimed that humans possess untapped powers of transformation. Now, modern science is confirming what these traditions have long maintained, that when properly trained, your mind and consciousness can create what many would consider miraculous changes in your life. If you've ever sensed there's more to life than what you're currently experiencing, if you felt that deeper potential within you waiting to be unleashed, you're right. There is a version of you that's stronger, healthier, more fulfilled, and more powerful than you can imagine. And the only thing separating you from that reality is how you use your mind. Most of us have been conditioned to believe we're limited by our genetics, our environment, and our past experiences. We've been taught that significant change is slow, difficult, and often impossible. But what if this is nothing more than a deeply ingrained illusion? What if you could break free from these perceived constraints and step into an entirely new reality? One where you're not bound by past traumas, not limited by societal expectations, and not defined by anything other than who you choose to become. This audiobook bridges the gap between cutting-edge science and ancient spiritual wisdom. It shows you how to harness the power of your mind and body to create extraordinary transformation in your everyday life. Drawing from breakthroughs in neuroscience, epigenetics, and quantum physics, while honoring the wisdom of time-tested spiritual practices, we'll explore how ordinary people are achieving extraordinary results, healing from chronic illnesses, breaking free from lifelong mental patterns, and creating reality-shifting breakthroughs. The knowledge you're about to receive isn't just theoretical, it's intensely practical. You'll learn specific techniques to rewire your brain, shift your energy, and tap into the infinite field of possibilities that surrounds you. You'll discover how to break free from the unconscious habits and emotional patterns that keep you stuck, how to elevate your energy to attract new opportunities, and how to access the quantum field to manifest your desired reality. By the time you finish this audiobook, you won't just understand these principles intellectually. You'll have experienced them. You'll have reconnected with the infinite intelligence within you, tapped into the unlimited possibilities around you, and begun creating a life that reflects your true potential. The journey we're about to embark on isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more fully yourself. It's about transcending the limitations you've accepted and stepping into the extraordinary being you were always meant to be. Are you ready to become supernatural? The journey begins now. Opening the door to the supernatural. What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, there's an untapped potential inside you, an ability to heal, to create, to step beyond the limits of your current reality? What if the extraordinary wasn't reserved for a select few, but was something you could experience for yourself? The truth is, science is finally catching up to what ancient wisdom traditions have known for centuries. You are far more powerful than you've been led to believe. Most of us have been conditioned to see ourselves as passive participants in life, reacting to circumstances that seem beyond our control. But you don't have to settle for that limited existence. Instead, you can become the conscious creator of your future. Before we dive into the science, I want to ask you something. Have you ever had a moment in your life where time seemed to stop? Perhaps you were so immersed in something you loved that you lost all awareness of the outside world. Or maybe during a deeply emotional experience, you felt a presence greater than yourself. These moments are glimpses into something profound, the idea that you are not merely a physical being stuck in a fixed reality. You are consciousness in motion. For most of our lives, we've been taught to believe that we are our bodies, our thoughts, and our past experiences. We're told that change is hard, that healing takes time, that life is a series of predictable events based on what has come before. But what if none of that is true? What if you could wake up tomorrow as a completely different person, not just in the way you think or feel, but in the actual structure of your brain and body? That's not science fiction. It's real, and it's happening to people all over the world. In this audiobook, I want to open your mind to the idea that the supernatural is not something outside of you. It's something within you. It's the untapped potential lying dormant in your brain and body, waiting for you to wake it up. And once you do, life will never be the same again. For centuries, the idea of the supernatural has been associated with miracles, mystical experiences, and events that defy logic. But what if those experiences weren't magic at all? What if they were simply the result of tapping into laws of the universe that we don't fully understand yet? That's exactly what's happening today. Scientists are now discovering that our thoughts influence our biology, that our emotions create measurable electromagnetic fields, and that human beings can access states of awareness that go far beyond what we once believed possible. We're learning that meditation is not just a relaxation tool, but a gateway to profound transformation. We're seeing people heal themselves of chronic diseases, shift their realities in ways that can't be explained by traditional science, and even access information beyond the limits of time and space. You might be wondering, how is this possible? How can thoughts, emotions, and energy have such a profound effect on my life? The answer lies in the science of consciousness and the quantum model of reality. The old Newtonian way of thinking, that we live in a purely physical world governed by predictable cause and effect laws, is no longer the full story. Instead, quantum physics tells us that reality is far more flexible than we ever imagined. The world is not made up of fixed particles, but of energy and information, and the energy of your thoughts and emotions has the power to shape that reality. Now, if you're skeptical, that's a good thing. I don't want you to believe something just because I say it. I want you to experience it for yourself. Because when you start applying these principles, when you begin using your mind and emotions in a new way, you won't need anyone to convince you. You'll see the results in your own life. Breaking the habit of being yourself. One of the biggest obstacles to unlocking your supernatural potential is the conditioning of your past. Most people wake up every morning and immediately fall into the same patterns. They think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, and go through the same routines. Because their brain is wired to repeat what is familiar, they unknowingly create the same future over and over again. Imagine your mind is like a record playing the same song on repeat. That song is your past, your beliefs, your habits, your emotional reactions. As long as you keep playing that record, your life will never change. But what if you could lift the needle and choose a different song? What if you could rewire your brain to think in new ways, feel new emotions, and create a completely different experience of reality? That's exactly what we're going to do. Studies in neuroscience have shown that the brain is not fixed, it's neuroplastic, which means it can be rewired at any time. You are not stuck with the brain you have now. You can literally create new neural pathways that support the future you want. And when you combine that with elevated emotions such as gratitude, love, and joy, you send a powerful signal to your body and the universe that a new reality is already unfolding. The problem is that most people live in survival mode. They are constantly reacting to stress, fear, and worry, which locks them into the past. But if you want to become supernatural, you have to step beyond those emotions. You have to train your body to feel the future before it happens. This is not just theory, it's science. When you generate elevated emotions ahead of an event, you signal to your brain and body that the event is already happening. And when you do that repeatedly, your brain starts rewiring itself to match that new reality. To prove that these concepts aren't just abstract ideas, let's look at real people who have experienced extraordinary transformations. People who were given medical diagnoses with no hope of recovery, yet healed themselves through the power of their mind. People who were stuck in patterns of suffering for years, only to break free when they changed their energy and emotions. Take the story of Anna, who had been diagnosed with a severe autoimmune disease that left her in constant pain. Doctors told her there was no cure, but instead of accepting that reality, she decided to apply the principles you're learning right now. She meditated every day, visualized herself healthy, and trained her body to feel the emotions of wellness before it happened. Within months, her symptoms began to disappear, and today she is completely healed. How did she do it? She shifted from being a victim of her past to the creator of her future. She stopped reinforcing the old story of sickness and instead trained her mind and body to align with a new story of health. That's the power you have. It doesn't matter where you are right now, whether you're struggling with health, relationships, finances, or emotional pain. Your future is not set in stone. You have the ability to change it. You now stand at the doorway to a new reality. The science is clear. The stories of transformation are undeniable. But the real question is, will you take the step? Will you move beyond the familiar, beyond the conditioning of your past, and embrace the extraordinary potential within you? The present moment reality. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you want to change, something invisible keeps pulling you back into the same patterns? You set an intention to think more positively, to break a bad habit, or to take a step toward your dreams, but somehow, within days, sometimes within hours, you find yourself back where you started. Why does this happen? Why do we struggle to change even when we consciously want to? The answer is simple. Most of us are living in the past, and we don't even realize it. Right now, your brain is a record of everything you've ever experienced. Every memory, every habit, every emotional reaction you've had has been wired into the circuits of your brain. The more you repeat a thought or an emotional response, the stronger that neural pathway becomes. If you've spent years feeling anxious about money, frustrated in relationships, or doubting your own potential, your brain has become an efficient machine at replaying those emotions. In fact, research shows that by the time you're in your mid-30s, nearly 95% of who you are is a memorized set of behaviors, beliefs, and reactions, automatic programs running on autopilot. Think about that for a moment. If 95% of who you are is a subconscious program, then that means only 5% of your thoughts are actually new. That's why change feels so hard. You can wake up and set an intention to be different, but if you spend the rest of your day running the same mental programs, nothing actually changes. Your body is addicted to the past because your thoughts and emotions are chemically reinforcing it. But what if you could break the cycle? What if you could step out of the predictable past and into a completely new future? The key to doing that is simple yet profoundly powerful. You must learn to live in the present moment. When was the last time you were fully present? not thinking about the past or worrying about the future, but truly immersed in the now. For most people, the answer is rarely. Our minds are constantly wandering, reliving old memories, worrying about what's next, or getting lost in distractions. But when you are fully present, something remarkable happens. Your brain and body enter a state of coherence where your energy is no longer scattered but completely focused in the now. Neuroscience has shown that when we are present, our brain waves shift. Normally, when we're stressed or lost in thought, our brain operates in high beta waves, which are associated with survival mode, overthinking, anxiety, and feeling overwhelmed. But when we enter the present moment, our brain moves into alpha and theta waves, states linked to creativity, intuition, and healing. These slower brain waves allow us to move beyond the analytical mind and tap into deeper levels of awareness. This is why meditation is such a powerful tool for transformation. Meditation isn't just about relaxation. It's about training your mind and body to be fully present. When you meditate, you teach your brain to slow down, to disconnect from the autopilot mode of the past, and to enter a state where real change can happen. This is the doorway to the supernatural. In fact, studies on meditation have shown something extraordinary. When people practice being present, they can actually rewire their brains. New neural pathways are created, old patterns dissolve, and the brain begins to reorganize itself in a way that supports a new way of thinking and being. But meditation isn't the only way to access the present moment. You can train yourself to be more present in everyday life. Simple practices like focusing on your breath, bringing awareness to your body, or fully engaging in the task at hand can shift your consciousness immediately. And when you do this consistently, you start to change the way your brain and body function. To understand why presence is so crucial, we need to take a closer look at what happens when we don't live in the present. Most people wake up every morning and immediately start thinking about their problems. They replay past events, anticipate future stressors, and emotionally react before the day even begins. The moment they remember their problems, they activate the same neural networks in their brain and release the same chemical emotions into their body. In other words, their thoughts create a biochemical feedback loop that keeps them stuck in the past. And because the body doesn't know the difference between a real event and one that is vividly imagined, it reacts as if those past experiences are happening all over again. If you constantly think about how you were betrayed, hurt, or disappointed, your body will keep producing the same stress hormones as if the event were happening now. And over time, those emotions become your personality. This is why some people stay stuck for years, even decades. They are addicted to their past emotions, and without realizing it, they keep recreating the same reality. If you want to step into a new future, you have to break this cycle. You have to train yourself to think, feel, and act as if you are already in that future reality. But the only way to do that is to stop reliving the past and become fully present. The truth is, the present moment is the only place where change can happen. The past is already gone, and the future doesn't exist yet. When you live in the present, you step into a space where you are no longer defined by your past, and you can start creating your future from a place of unlimited possibility. This is where the quantum model of reality comes into play. According to quantum physics, all potential futures already exist in the field of infinite possibilities, but the version of the future you experience depends on what you focus on in the present. If you keep focusing on your past, you will keep collapsing the same future. But if you shift your awareness to new possibilities, you start tuning into a completely different reality. This is not just a philosophical idea, it's a scientific principle. Studies in quantum physics have shown that the observer affects reality. In experiments, particles behave differently depending on whether or not they are being observed. This means that your consciousness, your thoughts, emotions, and energy has a direct influence on the world around you. So what does this mean for you? It means that if you want to change your life, you must learn to observe a new future instead of replaying an old one. You must become so present that your energy is no longer entangled with the past, and instead, you start drawing in new possibilities. Here's a simple but powerful practice you can do right now to start living in the present moment. 1. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs and notice how your body responds. 2. Shift your awareness to your heart. Place your hand over your chest and focus on your heartbeat. 3. Slow down your thoughts. Let go of any worries about the past or future and simply observe the now. 4. Feel gratitude for this moment. Even if nothing has changed yet, feel appreciation for the fact that you are alive, breathing, and aware. If you do this consistently, even for a few minutes each day, you will begin training your brain to be more present. And the more present you become, the more you will start noticing changes in your thoughts, emotions, and even your physical body. You now understand that the present moment is not just a fleeting experience. It is the gateway to transformation. The more you practice presence, the more you disconnect from the old self and start aligning with a new future. The quantum model of reality. For most of human history, we have been conditioned to believe that reality is fixed, that what we see, hear, and touch is all that exists, and that life unfolds in a predictable, linear fashion. We've been taught that we are separate from the world around us, that our thoughts have no real influence over physical matter, and that change happens only through external action, hard work, or sheer luck. But what if I told you that this entire way of thinking is incomplete? What if the reality you experience isn't something happening to you, but something being created by you in every moment? Modern physics is now confirming what ancient mystics and spiritual teachers have long understood. Reality is not as solid and unchangeable as it seems. Instead of being a world made of fixed objects governed by rigid laws, reality is fluid, flexible, and shaped by the energy and consciousness of the observer. In other words, your thoughts, emotions, and energy are actively influencing the very fabric of your existence. To truly become supernatural, you must first understand that the universe does not work the way we were taught in school. You are not a passive participant in life. You are a creator. But before you can begin to create your desired future, you must first break free from the old Newtonian model of thinking, one that keeps you trapped in limitation, scarcity, and linear progress. Once you embrace the quantum model of reality, you will see that your thoughts are not just internal experiences. They are signals sent into the field of infinite possibilities, shaping the reality you will soon experience. And the most astonishing part, you have the power to do this consciously at any moment, simply by shifting your awareness from Newtonian physics to the quantum field. For centuries, science was dominated by Newtonian physics, a model that explained the universe as a machine made up of separate, tangible parts interacting through cause and effect. This model suggested that reality was predictable, measurable, and unchangeable unless acted upon by an external force. Under this way of thinking, life was thought to be determined by physical circumstances. If you were sick, your body was broken. If you were poor, your circumstances were fixed. If you were stuck in a pattern, the only way out was through physical effort. But in the early 20th century, physicists began discovering something mind-blowing. The universe does not operate like a rigid machine. At its most fundamental level, At the subatomic level of electrons, protons, and photons, particles don't behave in predictable ways. In fact, they don't even exist as things until they are observed. Rather than being solid, they exist in a wave-like state of pure potential, a field of energy where all possibilities exist simultaneously. The moment they are observed, they collapse into a single state, meaning that the act of observing is what determines which version of reality comes into existence. This discovery, known as the observer effect, completely shattered the Newtonian worldview. It proved that consciousness itself influences reality. The simple act of focusing your attention on something changes its behavior at the quantum level. If particles behave differently when they are being observed, what does that say about your role in shaping your own life? Could it mean that your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are actively influencing the world around you? The answer is yes. Your mind is not just experiencing reality, it is creating it. This is why most people remain stuck in the same patterns. They are constantly observing reality as it is, reinforcing what already exists, rather than directing their attention toward a new possibility. But when you learn to focus your energy in a new way, aligning your thoughts and emotions with the future you want to create, the quantum field responds accordingly. Imagine for a moment that your life is like a movie playing on a projector. The film strip contains every possible scene, but the only one being projected onto the screen is the one currently under the lens. However, if you change the frame being projected, the scene on the screen changes instantly. The film strip didn't change. It always contained infinite possibilities, but the reality you experienced did. This is exactly how the quantum field works. Right now, every possible version of your future already exists in the field. There is a version of you who is healthy, abundant, joyful, and fulfilled. There is also a version of you who is struggling, stuck, and full of self-doubt. The version that materializes in your life is determined by where you place your attention. Think about it. If your energy is constantly focused on worry, fear, or lack, you are reinforcing that version of reality and drawing it toward you. But if you begin to direct your awareness toward possibility, gratitude, and abundance, even before those things have physically appeared, you start tuning into a different future. Your energy is like a tuning fork, and the reality you experience is simply the station you are tuned into. Change the frequency, and you change the station. This is why many people feel stuck, because they are waiting for external circumstances to change before they feel differently. They say, once I have more money, I'll feel abundant, or once I meet the right person, I'll feel loved. But this way of thinking is backwards. The quantum model of reality teaches us that we must first generate the feeling of the experience we want, and then the physical reality will follow. In other words, instead of waiting for something external to shift your internal state, you must first shift your internal state to create a new external reality. This is not wishful thinking. It is neuroscience and quantum physics in action. Your thoughts and emotions are signals to the universe. Every thought you have is an electrical impulse in your brain, and every emotion you feel produces a chemical response in your body. Together, your thoughts and emotions generate an electromagnetic field, a vibrational signal that is sent out into the quantum field. This field does not respond to what you want, it responds to what you are. Think of it like a radio station. If you are broadcasting the frequency of stress, fear, or lack, you will only receive experiences that match that frequency. But if you begin broadcasting the frequency of love, gratitude, and abundance, you will begin attracting those experiences into your life. This is why it is so crucial to align your energy with the future you desire, rather than the past you wish to escape. When you wake up each morning, ask yourself, what signal am I sending to the universe today? Am I broadcasting the energy of my past limitations, or am I tuning into the future I want to create? The more consistently you align your energy with the future you desire, the faster you will begin to see it materialize. Now that you understand the quantum model of reality, you can no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstance. You are not at the mercy of your past, your genetics, or external events. You are the creator of your reality, and the key to unlocking your potential lies in your ability to focus your awareness on a new future. Tuning into the future, activating your energy centers. Why do you feel stuck, and how can you unlock the flow of energy within you? Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to move through life with a sense of ease, radiating confidence and vitality, while others struggle, feeling drained, anxious, or stuck? The difference between these two states isn't luck, genetics, or sheer willpower. It's energy. More specifically, it's the way energy is moving or not moving through the body. If you've ever felt exhausted for no reason, trapped in repetitive thoughts, or emotionally drained even when things are going well, you're likely experiencing a blockage in your body's energy centers. But the good news is, just as you can change your thoughts and emotions, you can also change the way energy flows through you. And once you do, everything in your external world begins to shift as well. You see, the body is an intricate energy system. While most of us were never taught about this in school, ancient traditions have understood it for thousands of years. These traditions, from yoga to Chinese medicine, speak of energy centers, areas in the body where energy is stored and distributed. In modern science, we understand these centers as collections of nerves and endocrine glands, playing a crucial role in regulating not only our physical health, but also our emotions, mental clarity, and overall well-being. But here's the problem. Most people's energy centers are out of balance. Either they are too overactive, leading to stress, anxiety, or reactivity, or they are blocked, leaving them feeling disconnected, tired, or unable to create the life they desire. And since energy is what fuels every function in your body, when it isn't flowing properly, it affects everything, from your immune system and hormones to your ability to manifest your desires in the quantum field. If you want to unlock your extraordinary potential, you must learn how to tune into and activate these energy centers consciously. By doing so, you will move beyond old emotional patterns, rewire your nervous system, and align your body with the future you want to create. The process isn't difficult, but it requires awareness, practice, and the willingness to step beyond the old self. Once you do, you'll notice profound changes not only in how you feel but in the way the world responds to you. To fully understand how to activate your energy centers, you first need to recognize how they function. There are 7 primary energy centers in the body, each linked to specific emotions, behaviors, and physical functions. When they are in harmony, they allow energy to flow freely, creating a state of health, joy, and empowerment. But when they are blocked by stress, trauma, or habitual thinking patterns, they create dysfunction both physically and emotionally. The first center, located at the base of the spine, is responsible for your sense of safety, security, and connection to the physical world. When in balance, you feel stable, confident, and grounded. But if it is blocked, you may struggle with anxiety, financial fears, or a feeling of instability in life. The second center, found just below the navel, governs your emotions, creativity, and ability to experience pleasure. When it's flowing properly, you feel inspired, passionate, and emotionally balanced. But if it's out of alignment, you may experience creative blocks, emotional instability, or feelings of guilt. The third center, located in the upper abdomen, is your power source. It controls confidence, self-discipline, and determination. If balanced, you feel strong and capable. If blocked, you may struggle with self-doubt, procrastination, or feelings of powerlessness. The fourth center, the heart center, is where human connection, compassion, and love reside. When open, you feel love not just for others but for life itself. If closed, you may struggle with feelings of isolation, resentment, or lack of self-love. The fifth center governs your voice, your ability to communicate, express yourself, and speak your truth. When it's blocked, you may feel afraid to share your ideas, hold back in conversations, or experience chronic throat issues. The sixth center, located in the center of your forehead, is associated with intuition, inner wisdom, and perception. When activated, you can see beyond limitations and tap into deep insight. When blocked, you may struggle with self-doubt, confusion, or lack of direction. The seventh center, sitting at the top of your head, connects you to higher states of consciousness. When open, you feel deeply connected to the universe and your life purpose. When blocked, you may feel disconnected, purposeless, or overly logical. Every day, your energy moves through these centers, influencing how you feel, think, and act. But most people's energy is trapped in the lower centers, stuck in survival mode, driven by stress, fear, or reactive emotions. If you want to create a new future, you must learn how to move this energy upward, activating the higher centers and aligning with higher levels of consciousness. This is the foundation of true transformation. The process of tuning into and activating your energy centers is not mystical or complicated. It is a skill that anyone can develop. The key is intention, awareness, and breath. When you focus on each center, breathe into it, and direct energy upward, you begin to create a new state of being, one that aligns with the future you desire. Here's a simple practice to tune into your energy centers. 1. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. 2. Start with the first energy center at the base of your spine. Visualize energy glowing there. Breathe deeply and feel it activating. 3. Slowly move your awareness upward to each energy center, one by one. With each breath, imagine the energy expanding, moving freely. 4. When you reach the heart center, feel gratitude, love, and appreciation. This is the key to unlocking higher states of consciousness. 5. Continue moving the energy up to your throat, third eye, and crown. Imagine yourself connecting to a higher state of awareness, feeling lighter and more expansive. 6. End by visualizing a beam of light extending from the top of your head into the quantum field, connecting you to the infinite possibilities of your future. This practice may seem simple, but its effects are profound. When you do this consistently, you begin to free yourself from the lower survival states and move into a place of creation. Instead of being reactive to life, you become a conscious participant in shaping your reality. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes to shift your energy at will, entering states of deep gratitude, love, and inspiration, the exact emotional states needed to manifest a new future. Now that you understand how your energy centers work, you can no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstances. The way you feel, think, and experience the world is directly connected to how energy is flowing in your body. When you learn to activate and direct this energy, you unlock a new level of personal power, one where you are no longer bound by old emotional patterns, and instead aligned with the infinite possibilities of the quantum field. Sustaining elevated emotions, the key to changing your life. Have you ever wondered why certain emotions seem to have a grip on you? Why, despite your best intentions, you find yourself reacting in the same ways, feeling the same stress, worry, or frustration day after day. It's not that you don't want to change. It's that your body has become addicted to familiar emotional states. The truth is, most people's lives are dictated not by external circumstances, but by their internal emotional patterns. And unless we learn how to shift and sustain new, elevated emotions, we continue to experience the same reality over and over again. Think about it. If every morning you wake up feeling rushed, worried about money, or anxious about work, those emotions create a biological state that signals your brain to think in alignment with those feelings. The thoughts you think, in turn, reinforce those same emotions, creating a feedback loop that keeps you stuck in the past. And because your body has memorized these states so well, it automatically seeks them out, just like an addiction. Without realizing it, you become chemically dependent on emotions like stress, anxiety, resentment, or unworthiness, even if they make you miserable. Now, here's the problem. If you are living in the same emotional state every day, you are broadcasting the same energy into the quantum field. And since the universe does not respond to what you want, but rather to who you are being, it keeps reflecting back to you the same experiences that match your emotional state. This is why change feels so difficult, because on a subconscious level, you are emotionally addicted to your past. So how do you break free? The answer lies in learning how to generate and sustain elevated emotions independent of external conditions. When you do this, you are no longer reacting to life but actively creating it. And as your internal state shifts, your external reality begins to shift as well. The problem is, most people only feel gratitude, joy, or love when something external happens. They wait for a reason to feel good instead of realizing that they can choose to feel good now. But when you learn to generate elevated emotions at will and sustain them long enough, you begin to rewrite your entire reality from the inside out. To truly understand why emotions have such a strong hold on us, we need to look at the science behind it. Every time you think a thought, your brain releases chemical messengers called neurotransmitters that trigger emotions in the body. If the thought is stressful, it releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, putting you into survival mode. If the thought is positive, it releases feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, making you feel relaxed and happy. Now here's where it gets interesting. The more often you think a certain type of thought, the more your brain strengthens the neural pathways associated with it. This is called neuroplasticity, and it's how habits, both mental and emotional, are formed over time. If you keep thinking the same thoughts and feeling the same emotions, your body actually memorizes them. Your body becomes your mind. For example, if for years you have been waking up feeling stressed about money, your brain has wired itself to think those thoughts automatically, and your body has been conditioned to feel that stress before you even get out of bed. At this point, you don't even have to think about feeling stressed. Your body does it for you. This is why change can feel so hard. It's not just a matter of deciding to think differently. Your body, which has become addicted to those old emotional states, will resist it. It will crave the same stress, the same worry, the same familiar feelings, even if they are making you miserable. And this is why most people fail to change their reality. They may set new goals, visualize new outcomes, or even try to think positively. But because they are still emotionally addicted to the past, their energy remains the same. And as long as their energy stays the same, their life stays the same. But here's the powerful truth. You can train your body to feel a new future before it happens. And when you do, you begin broadcasting a new energy into the quantum field, one that is no longer signaling the past but calling in the future you desire. So how do you begin to break free from the emotional addictions of the past and create a new future? The answer is learning to live in elevated emotional states on command and for extended periods of time. This is the secret behind every great transformation, every miraculous healing, and every powerful manifestation. But here's where most people get stuck. They think they need something external to change before they can feel good. They say things like, "Once I get that new job, then I'll feel successful." Or, "Once I find the right partner, then I'll feel loved." Or, "Once I have more money, then I'll feel abundant." But this is backward thinking. In the quantum model, you must first feel the emotions of your desired future before it materializes. This is not just wishful thinking. It is neuroscience. When you consistently generate feelings of gratitude, joy, or love, your body doesn't know the difference between the experience happening in your mind and one happening in the real world. It starts producing the same chemical responses, strengthening new neural pathways, and reconditioning your nervous system to align with a new reality. This is why gratitude is such a powerful emotion. When you feel gratitude before something happens, you are sending a clear signal to the universe that you have already received it. And because reality is shaped by the energy you broadcast, the quantum field responds by bringing that future into alignment. If you want to rewire your brain and body to create a new future, you must make elevated emotions your new normal. Try this simple but powerful practice every day. 1. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. 2. Bring to mind a vision of your desired future. See yourself already living in that reality. 3. Now, instead of focusing on the details, focus on the feeling of already having it. How does it feel to be financially free, to be deeply loved, to be healthy and full of energy? Let that emotion flood your body. 4. Breathe deeply and stay in this elevated emotional state for as long as you can. Let it expand in your heart and throughout your entire body. 5. Before you open your eyes, make a commitment to carry this emotion with you throughout the day, independent of external circumstances. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. At first, your body may resist. It may try to pull you back into old emotions. But if you persist, you will begin to recondition your body to feel joy, love, and gratitude as your new baseline state of being. Most people think they need to change their external reality to feel different. But in truth, changing your internal state first is what creates a new external reality. When you master the ability to sustain elevated emotions regardless of circumstances, you begin to tune into a new frequency, aligning yourself with the future you desire. And as your energy shifts, life starts responding differently to you. The heart, the bridge between your inner world and your future. We've been conditioned to think of the heart as nothing more than a pump, an organ that circulates blood and keeps us alive. Science has spent decades focusing on the brain as the command center of the body, treating emotions and intuition as secondary to logic and reason. But what if the heart is far more powerful than we've been led to believe? What if the heart is actually the key to unlocking our greatest potential and manifesting the life we desire? Modern research has begun to reveal what ancient traditions have known for thousands of years. The heart is more than just a mechanical organ. It is an intelligent energy center, a powerful electromagnetic generator, and the key bridge between our physical reality and the quantum field. It has the ability to send and receive information, regulate our emotions, and even influence the world around us in ways that defy conventional science. More importantly, when we learn to activate and sustain elevated emotions through the heart, we create a direct connection to the future we want to manifest. Think about the last time you felt deep love, gratitude, or joy. Did you notice how your entire body felt lighter, how everything around you seemed to flow effortlessly? When you are in this state, you're not just feeling good, you are shifting your entire energy field. The heart produces the largest electromagnetic field in the body, and that field extends beyond you, influencing the space around you. When you generate coherence between your heart and brain, you create a powerful signal that attracts new possibilities into your life. The problem is, most people's hearts are out of sync. They live in constant stress, worry, or frustration, unknowingly sending disorganized energy into the quantum field. And because the universe mirrors back what we project, they keep attracting the same struggles, the same disappointments, and the same limiting circumstances. But when you learn to shift from survival mode to heart-centered living, you step into a new way of being, one where your energy becomes magnetically aligned with the future you want to create. The idea that the heart plays a critical role in shaping our reality is not just spiritual philosophy. It is now being backed by science. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute have discovered that the heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. This means your heart is not simply responding to your brain. It is actually influencing your thoughts, emotions, and decision-making at a deep level. When your heart is in a state of coherence, meaning it is in an ordered, rhythmic pattern, it creates harmony in the brain and nervous system. This harmony allows you to access higher levels of creativity, intuition, and resilience, qualities that are essential for stepping into a new reality. In contrast, when your heart is in incoherence, meaning it is sending chaotic signals due to stress, frustration, or fear, it disrupts the entire system. Your brain becomes less effective, your body enters survival mode, and you lose access to higher intelligence. This is why when you are feeling stressed, it's difficult to think clearly, make good decisions, or see new opportunities. Your energy is fragmented, and because the quantum field responds to energy, you continue to experience reality in a fragmented way. But the moment you begin to generate coherent, elevated emotions from the heart, such as love, gratitude, or appreciation, everything changes. Your nervous system calms down, your brain waves synchronize, and your energy shifts to a new frequency. This is the key to attracting new possibilities into your life. You are no longer broadcasting stress, lack, or resistance. You are signaling abundance, joy, and expansion. And because the universe responds to the energy you emit, your external reality begins to align accordingly. If you want to create lasting transformation, you must learn to live from the heart, not just in fleeting moments but as your new default state. This requires practice, but once you master it, you will notice an effortless flow in your life, as if the universe is constantly working in your favor. The key is learning how to activate and sustain heart coherence daily, regardless of external conditions. Here is a simple but profound exercise that will help you enter a state of heart coherence and begin to shift your energy toward the future you desire. 1. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. 2. Gently place your attention on the center of your chest, where your heart is located. Imagine breathing in and out through your heart, as if your heart itself is doing the breathing. 3. With each breath, feel your heart begin to slow down and open. Let go of any tension, any stress, any resistance. Simply be present with the rhythm of your heart. 4. Now consciously generate an elevated emotion. Think of something or someone you deeply appreciate. Feel gratitude, love, or joy radiating from your heart. Let it expand, filling your entire body with warmth and light. 5. Hold this state for as long as possible. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring your focus back to the feeling in your heart. 6. Before opening your eyes, set an intention to carry this feeling with you throughout the day. Note that by doing this, you are shifting your energy and aligning with a new reality. This simple practice, when done consistently, rewires your nervous system, creating a new baseline emotional state. Instead of reacting to life from survival mode, you begin to respond from a place of balance, intuition, and trust. And as you sustain this elevated state, you naturally attract experiences that match it. Most people live from the head. They analyze, calculate, and try to control every aspect of life through logic. But the most profound transformations happen when we shift from thinking to feeling, from the mind to the heart. When you make this shift, you start experiencing life differently. You begin to trust the process, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You stop forcing outcomes and start allowing opportunities to come to you. Instead of chasing success, abundance, or love, you become magnetic to them. You develop a deep sense of inner peace because you are no longer trying to control life. You are in flow with it. And perhaps most importantly, you feel truly alive, not because of external circumstances, but because you have tapped into the limitless power within you. The heart is the gateway to the quantum field, the bridge between your inner world and your future reality. When you activate and sustain heart coherence, you are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are the creator of your life. You have now reached a turning point. You understand that your energy dictates your reality, and you know that the key to shifting your energy lies in the heart. The next step is to make heart coherence a daily practice, not just something you do occasionally, but a way of life. As you move forward, remember this. Your heart is the key to everything you desire. When you generate elevated emotions from within, independent of external conditions, you become a powerful force in the quantum field. You are no longer waiting for life to change. You are changing from within. And as a result, life responds to you in extraordinary ways. The power of clear intention, aligning mind and heart to shape reality. Why do most people fail to manifest what they desire? By now, you understand that your energy creates your reality. You've learned how your thoughts and emotions broadcast a signal to the quantum field, and that your heart is the bridge between your inner world and your future. But there's one crucial piece of the puzzle that determines whether your desires remain wishful thinking or become tangible experiences: clear intention. Most people fail to create the life they want not because they don't desire it, but because they lack clarity. They may say they want success, love, or abundance, but their desires are vague, scattered, and unfocused. Their thoughts contradict their emotions, and their energy is divided between longing for the future and dwelling on the past. As a result, their signal to the universe is weak, confused, and ineffective. Imagine trying to tune into a radio station but constantly switching frequencies. One moment you're excited about your dream, feeling confident and inspired. The next moment, you're doubting yourself, worrying about failure, or replaying past disappointments. This inconsistency creates energetic incoherence, making it impossible for the quantum field to respond with a clear outcome. Now contrast this with the way truly successful creators operate. They don't just daydream about what they want. They see it, feel it, and embody it as if it's already real. They hold their vision with absolute clarity and emotional certainty, sending a coherent, unwavering signal into the field. Because their thoughts, emotions, and energy are fully aligned, reality has no choice but to reorganize itself in their favor. This is the power of clear intention combined with elevated emotion. When you master both, You stop chasing possibilities and start attracting them effortlessly. At the core of manifestation lies a fundamental principle. Your brain is the map and your heart is the magnet. Your brain provides the structure, it forms the vision, defines the goal, and gives direction to your desires. Without a clear blueprint, your energy remains scattered and your efforts feel aimless. This is why setting a clear, specific intention is crucial. If you don't know exactly what you want, how can the universe deliver it? Your heart, on the other hand, is the emotional engine. It generates the powerful feelings that fuel your vision, sending a strong, amplified signal into the quantum field. Without elevated emotion, your intention is nothing more than an empty thought. Emotion is what breathes life into your vision, making it magnetic and real. But here's where most people get stuck. Their brain and heart are out of sync. They may visualize their dream, but their emotions contradict it. They want financial success, but deep down, they feel unworthy. They desire love, but carry unresolved fear of rejection. This inner conflict creates mixed signals, weakening their energy and blocking their desires from manifesting. The key, then, is to align your mind and heart in perfect coherence, to create a mental picture so vivid and an emotional state so powerful that your body begins to believe your future has already arrived. When this happens, your nervous system rewires itself. Your energy shifts to a new frequency, and reality starts to bend in your favor. Clarity is everything. If your intention is vague, your results will be vague. The universe responds to specificity, so the clearer and more precise your vision, the faster and more effectively it manifests. Here's how to set a powerful, magnetic intention that aligns your brain and heart. Step 1. Define your desired future with precision. Instead of saying, "I want more money," specify exactly what you mean. How much money? By when? What will it allow you to do? How will it feel? The more specific you are, the stronger your signal. Instead of saying, "I want to be healthy," visualize yourself in the peak of vitality. What does your ideal health look like? How do you feel when you wake up? What does your body look and move like? The clearer the details, the more your brain can latch onto the vision. Your subconscious mind cannot process vague intentions. If you don't give it a precise target, it will continue reinforcing old patterns. Be exact, be bold, be detailed. Step 2. Shift from wanting to knowing. The biggest mistake people make when setting an intention is coming from a place of lack. If you say, "I want financial freedom," but deep down you feel broke and desperate, your energy is actually reinforcing the reality of not having it. To truly shift your reality, you must move beyond wanting and step into knowing. Instead of seeing your desire as something distant, feel it as if it's already done. Embody the energy of already having it. This subtle but powerful shift changes everything. Rather than thinking, "I want success," embody the mindset of a successful person. How do they think? How do they feel? How do they act? By stepping into this identity now, you align your energy with that reality. Step 3. Attach an elevated emotion. Your intention must be more than a mental picture. It must be alive with emotion. The stronger the emotion, the more powerful the signal. Think about the most joyful, fulfilling moments of your life. Did you feel neutral and detached, or did you feel completely immersed in the moment, your heart bursting with energy? That's the kind of intensity you need to bring to your vision. When you set an intention, don't just think about it, feel it. Feel the gratitude of already living your dream. Feel the excitement, the love, the deep sense of purpose. Let it flood your entire body. This is what turns a simple thought into a magnetic force that reshapes your future. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to manifest their desires is inconsistency. They set an intention, feel inspired for a few days, and then slip back into old thought patterns. Energy must be sustained long enough to create momentum. If you only hold your intention briefly, your signal weakens before reality can fully shift. This is why daily repetition is crucial. Every morning before you start your day, take time to revisit your vision, feel the emotions, and reaffirm your intention. Hold it in your heart, breathe it in, and let it become part of your energy field. Think of it like tuning a radio station. If you keep adjusting the dial, you'll never get a clear signal. But if you lock into one frequency and stay there, the transmission becomes crystal clear. The same applies to your manifestations. The longer you stay in alignment, the stronger the attraction. At this point, you understand the formula. Clear intention plus elevated emotion equals magnetic manifestation. You have learned that the universe doesn't respond to what you say you want, it responds to who you are. When you bring absolute clarity, unwavering belief, and deep emotion to your vision, you become an unstoppable force. You are no longer a passive observer of life. You are an active creator, shaping reality with your thoughts, emotions, and energy. The power has always been within you. It was just waiting for you to claim it. Rewiring your identity, becoming the future version of yourself. At this point, you've learned how to align your thoughts and emotions to send a powerful signal into the quantum field. You now understand the formula. Clear intention plus elevated emotion equals magnetic manifestation. Yet despite this knowledge, many people still struggle to create lasting change. They set goals, visualize their dreams, and even experience moments of success, only to find themselves slipping back into old habits, patterns, and circumstances. Why? Because deep down, they are still operating from the same old identity. Your identity is the sum total of your beliefs, emotions, habits, and subconscious programming. It is the internal blueprint that shapes everything in your life, your relationships, your financial situation, your health, and even the opportunities that come your way. If your identity is wired for struggle, you will unconsciously create struggle. If you see yourself as unworthy of success, you will unknowingly sabotage opportunities for growth. If your mind is conditioned to expect disappointment, you will continue attracting experiences that confirm that belief. This is why changing your identity is the most critical and often overlooked step in creating a new reality. You cannot manifest a new future while clinging to an old self. If you truly want to step into a greater version of yourself, you must first rewire your subconscious mind, dissolve limiting beliefs, and embody the energy of your desired future. Your identity is not just a vague concept. It is deeply wired into the structure of your brain and nervous system. Every belief you hold, every habit you repeat, every emotional response you experience is a network of neurons firing together. Over time, these neural pathways become so ingrained that they operate on autopilot, dictating your behaviors and reactions without you even realizing it. For example, if you've always struggled with money, chances are you have deeply ingrained neural patterns around scarcity and financial stress. These patterns were likely formed in childhood. Maybe you grew up hearing phrases like, "money doesn't grow on trees," or "we can't afford that." Over time, these beliefs became hardwired into your subconscious mind, shaping the way you think, feel, and act around money. Even if you consciously desire wealth, your identity is still wired for struggle, and so you continue experiencing financial challenges, no matter how hard you try. The same applies to health, relationships, and success. If your brain has been programmed to see yourself as unhealthy, unworthy, or incapable, you will keep manifesting a reality that reflects those beliefs, not because you consciously choose it, but because your subconscious mind is running the show. The good news is, Neuroscience has proven that you can rewire your brain and change your identity at any time. The moment you begin consciously creating new neural connections by thinking new thoughts, feeling new emotions, and taking new actions, you start breaking the old patterns and installing a new identity that matches the future you desire. One of the most powerful ways to rewire your identity is through mental rehearsal, a scientifically proven technique that allows you to create new neural pathways in the brain before your external reality changes. Studies have shown that when you vividly imagine an experience, your brain cannot tell the difference between the imagined experience and reality. The same neurons fire, the same circuits are activated, and the same chemical responses are triggered. In other words, when you repeatedly visualize yourself as the future version of you, your brain begins to rewire itself to match that reality. Think about elite athletes. They don't just physically train for competition. They mentally rehearse their performance over and over again before stepping onto the field. They have already experienced victory in their minds hundreds of times. This mental conditioning strengthens the neural pathways associated with peak performance, making success inevitable when the actual moment arrives. You can use this same technique to transform your identity and manifest your future. Here's how to practice mental rehearsal. 1. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths to relax. 2. Bring a clear image of your future self into your mind. See yourself already living the reality you desire. Where are you? What are you doing? How do you carry yourself? What emotions do you feel? 3. Engage all your senses. Imagine the sights, sounds, and even the physical sensations of your future life. If you are manifesting wealth, imagine yourself holding large sums of money, feeling its texture in your hands. If you are manifesting love, imagine the warmth of your partner's touch, the joy in their eyes. 4. Most importantly, feel it. Generate the emotions of already being that person. Experience the gratitude, excitement, and confidence as if it's happening now. 5. Hold this state for several minutes, fully embodying the energy of your future self. When you open your eyes, carry that energy with you throughout the day. By practicing this daily, you install a new identity into your subconscious mind. The more you mentally rehearse your future self, the more your brain and nervous system adapt to match that reality. Over time, your actions, choices, and external circumstances begin to shift effortlessly to reflect your new self-image. One of the biggest challenges in identity transformation is letting go of the past version of yourself. Most people don't realize they are chemically addicted to their old emotions: stress, fear, frustration, self-doubt. These emotions have become familiar, even comfortable, and breaking free from them can feel like withdrawal. Every time you react in the same old way, getting triggered, doubting yourself, playing small, you are reinforcing your past identity. The key to change is to become so conscious of these old patterns that you no longer let them control you. The next time an old emotion arises, whether it's fear, self-doubt, or frustration, pause. Recognize that this is just your past self trying to pull you back into an old reality. Instead of reacting, choose differently. Shift into the energy of your future self. Ask yourself, how would my future self respond in this moment? Would they act from fear or from confidence? Would they shrink back or step forward? Every time you choose the new self over the old self, you are rewiring your brain and shifting your identity on a deep neurological level. True transformation is not about getting something you lack. It's about becoming who you already are at your highest potential. Your future self is not separate from you. It already exists in the quantum field. The only thing keeping you from experiencing it now is your attachment to the old self. The moment you stop identifying with who you've been and start embodying who you are becoming, reality will shift to match your new energy. It won't happen overnight, but with daily practice, you will see profound changes, first in your emotions, then in your behaviors, and finally in the external world. Reprogramming the subconscious, unlocking the power of your hidden mind. You have set clear intentions. You have elevated your emotions. You have even started to shift your identity, stepping into the energy of your future self. And yet, despite all of this, you might find yourself facing resistance, old doubts creeping in, self-sabotaging behaviors resurfacing, or external circumstances mirroring your past rather than your desired future. If this happens, understand this. It is not a sign that your manifestation is failing. It is a sign that your subconscious mind is still running the old program. Most people believe that change happens through willpower and conscious effort alone. They assume that if they just think positively, set goals, and take action, transformation will follow. But the truth is, your conscious mind only controls about 5% of your daily behaviors. The remaining 95% is dictated by the subconscious mind, a vast, deeply ingrained database of beliefs, habits, and emotional patterns that operate automatically beneath the surface of your awareness. Your subconscious is like the operating system of a computer. It stores everything you have ever experienced, your childhood conditioning, the stories you've been told, the emotional reactions you've repeated over and over again. If you are trying to consciously create a new reality while your subconscious is still programmed with old beliefs, it will feel like trying to run new software on an outdated system. You might make progress, but eventually, the old programming will override your efforts, pulling you back into the same cycles. The key to true transformation, then, is not just thinking differently but reprogramming your subconscious mind at the deepest level. When you do this successfully, manifestation becomes effortless, not because you are forcing change, but because your subconscious now naturally supports the reality you desire. Your subconscious mind is always working, absorbing information, influencing your perceptions, and dictating your responses. It determines how you interpret experiences, how you react to challenges, and what opportunities you even notice in the first place. If your subconscious is wired with limiting beliefs, you will filter reality through those beliefs, only seeing what confirms them while ignoring anything that contradicts them. For example, if your subconscious holds the belief that "I am not good enough," you will unconsciously seek out evidence to support this belief. You might downplay your achievements, self-sabotage opportunities, or attract relationships that reinforce your feelings of unworthiness. Even if success is right in front of you, your subconscious will reject it because it does not align with your internal self-image. This is why people who win the lottery often lose their money within a few years. Their subconscious mind is still programmed for financial struggle, so even when massive wealth enters their lives, they unconsciously find ways to get rid of it. On the other hand, self-made millionaires who lose everything often regain their wealth quickly because their subconscious is wired for abundance, and they naturally attract it back into their reality. If you want to create lasting change, you must stop fighting against your subconscious and start reprogramming it to work in your favor. When your subconscious beliefs align with your conscious desires, success and manifestation happen naturally, without resistance. Reprogramming the subconscious requires more than just thinking positive thoughts. It involves deep, consistent, and intentional practice. Here are the most powerful methods to rewrite your internal programming. One of the most effective ways to access the subconscious is through hypnosis and meditation. In a normal waking state, your brain operates primarily in beta waves, which are associated with conscious thought and analytical thinking. However, when you enter alpha and theta states, which occur in deep meditation or hypnosis, you bypass the critical, analytical mind and access the subconscious directly. In these states, your mind becomes highly suggestible, meaning you can introduce new beliefs, ideas, and self-concepts without resistance. This is why guided meditations, visualization exercises, and self-hypnosis can be so powerful for rewiring your subconscious. By consistently immersing yourself in new mental imagery and affirmations, while in this receptive state, you begin replacing old patterns with new ones. To use this effectively, listen to guided hypnosis or meditation sessions daily, especially before bed or right after waking up, when your brain is naturally in the theta state. Focus on visualizing your desired reality with deep emotion, feeling as if it's already happening. Use affirmations in the present tense, as if the new belief is already true. For example, I am worthy of abundance. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. With consistent practice, these new beliefs will take root in your subconscious, and you will start seeing external shifts that reflect your inner transformation. Your subconscious learns through repetition and strong emotional experiences. Just as you didn't develop limiting beliefs overnight, you won't erase them overnight either. The key is consistent reinforcement, repeating new beliefs and thought patterns until they become second nature. Imagine learning a new language. If you practice once a week, your progress will be slow. But if you immerse yourself in the language every day, it soon becomes second nature. The same principle applies to subconscious reprogramming. The more frequently you affirm, visualize, and feel your new reality, the faster your subconscious will accept it as truth. Emotion is also crucial. Your subconscious responds more powerfully to experiences that are charged with strong feelings. This is why traumatic events leave such deep imprints, because they were associated with intense emotion. But you can use this to your advantage by associating strong positive emotions with your new beliefs. If you want to program the belief that you are successful, don't just say the words. Immerse yourself in the feeling of success. Picture yourself achieving your goals and feel the excitement, pride, and fulfillment as if it's happening now. The stronger the emotional charge, the faster the subconscious absorbs the new belief. Your subconscious mind is constantly influenced by your environment, your surroundings, the people you interact with, the media you consume, and the daily experiences you expose yourself to. If you are trying to reprogram your subconscious while still surrounding yourself with negative influences, progress will be slow. For example, if you are trying to rewire your beliefs around wealth but constantly listen to people complaining about money, your subconscious will continue reinforcing scarcity thinking. If you are trying to embody confidence but consume media that makes you feel insecure, your subconscious will resist change. To accelerate reprogramming, consciously design an environment that supports your new identity. Surround yourself with people who embody the success mindset and energy you want to cultivate. Consume positive, empowering content, books, podcasts, videos that reinforce your new beliefs. Eliminate negative inputs, news, social media, or toxic influences that reinforce fear and doubt. Upgrade your physical space. Create an environment that reflects the future you desire. Even small changes like dressing the way your future self would or rearranging your space can reinforce new subconscious patterns. The more aligned your external environment is with your desired identity, the easier it becomes for your subconscious to accept it as your new reality. Your subconscious mind is not your enemy. It is your most powerful ally. It does not judge or resist. It simply follows the patterns it has been conditioned to accept. If you consciously and consistently feed it new beliefs, emotions, and experiences, it will reshape your identity, rewire your behaviors, and transform your external world to match. Tapping into universal intelligence, the science of synchronicity and flow. By now, you understand the power of thought, emotion, and identity in shaping your reality. You have explored the depths of your subconscious, learning how to rewire the patterns that have governed your life for years. But even as you reprogram your mind and shift your internal state, you may notice something remarkable beginning to happen, a phenomenon that defies logic, one that suggests that the universe itself is responding to your transformation. Perhaps you start encountering people who seem perfectly aligned with your goals, as if fate has orchestrated the meeting. Maybe an opportunity arises at precisely the right moment, just as you were preparing yourself to take the next step. Or you begin seeing signs, repeating numbers, symbolic messages, and synchronistic events that seem too meaningful to be mere coincidence. This is the moment when you realize that manifestation is not just about mental reprogramming. It is not just about thinking the right thoughts, feeling the right emotions, or taking aligned action. Something deeper is at play, something bigger than you. You are now entering the realm of universal intelligence, the invisible field of consciousness that connects all things. This is the quantum web where all possibilities already exist. It is the space where energy, intention, and vibration interact with the physical world, weaving together circumstances and events in ways that defy traditional cause and effect thinking. Many people call this force by different names: God, Source, the universe, the quantum field. But regardless of what you call it, the fundamental truth remains. You are not separate from this intelligence. You are an expression of it. And when you learn to align with it, you step into a state of flow where manifestation happens effortlessly, and life unfolds in ways far greater than anything your logical mind could have predicted. But how do you tap into this intelligence? How do you recognize when the universe is guiding you? And most importantly, how do you ensure that you are in sync with its flow rather than resisting it? Synchronicity, a term coined by Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, describes the occurrence of meaningful coincidences that cannot be explained by chance alone. Unlike ordinary coincidences, synchronistic events feel deeply purposeful, as if they were designed just for you. For example, imagine you are contemplating a career change but feel uncertain about the decision. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, you start hearing conversations, seeing articles, or meeting people who bring up that exact career path. You didn't seek out this information. It simply appeared, as if the universe was responding to your thoughts. Or perhaps you've been struggling with self-doubt, and then one day, you randomly open a book to a passage that speaks directly to your fears, offering the exact encouragement you needed. These moments are not random. They are feedback from the universe. They are signals that you are either aligned or misaligned with the path that is meant for you. The key is to become aware of them, to trust them, and to follow their guidance. Here's how to recognize synchronistic events. 1. Patterns and repeating symbols. Do you keep seeing the same numbers, words, or themes appearing in your life? Repeating numbers like 11, 11, 222, or 333 often indicate alignment with higher intelligence. 2. Unexpected opportunities and connections. When people, resources, or opportunities show up exactly when you need them, take note. The universe may be orchestrating events on your behalf. 3. Strong intuitive nudges. Do you feel an unexplained urge to go somewhere, call someone, or take action on something? These inner nudges are often guidance from universal intelligence. 4. Dreams and inner visions. Pay attention to messages in your dreams. Sometimes the subconscious mind and the universe communicate through symbols while you sleep. 5. Unexplainable obstacles. Sometimes the universe speaks through delays and roadblocks. If something feels forced or constantly falls apart, it may be a sign that you are heading in the wrong direction. Synchronicity is not random. It is communication. When you notice these patterns and engage with them, you start realizing that life is far more interconnected than you ever imagined. Beyond synchronicity, there is an even more profound state that mystics, athletes, and high performers have described throughout history. It is a state where time seems to disappear, where action feels effortless, and where everything unfolds with perfect timing. This is known as flow state. When you are in flow, you are no longer thinking or analyzing. You're simply being, fully immersed in the present moment. You feel inspired, energized, and deeply connected to something greater than yourself. Athletes describe this as being in the zone, where their movements become instinctive and effortless. Artists, musicians, and writers speak of moments when creativity pours through them, as if they are mere channels for a higher force. But flow is not just for athletes and creatives. It is a state available to anyone who learns to align their energy with universal intelligence. Here's how to enter flow state. 1. Let go of overthinking. Flow happens when you stop analyzing and start trusting. Too much mental noise disrupts the connection between you and universal intelligence. 2. Follow what feels energizing. Pay attention to activities that make you lose track of time and bring you joy. These are often signals that you are in alignment with your purpose. 3. Move your body. Physical movement, especially activities like dancing, running, or yoga, can shift your brain into a more fluid, intuitive state. 4. Practice presence. Meditation, breathwork, and mindfulness help quiet the mind, making it easier to access flow. 5. Detach from outcomes. Flow requires surrender. The more you try to control how things unfold, the more you block universal intelligence from working through you. When you enter flow, you are no longer forcing things to happen. Instead, you become a conduit for the intelligence that is already guiding your path. One of the hardest lessons in manifestation is trusting the timing of the universe. We often want things to happen on our schedule, forcing outcomes or becoming frustrated when things don't unfold as quickly as we hoped. But what if the delays, the rejections, and the unexpected twists were not roadblocks but divine redirections? Imagine trying to plant a tree and then digging up the seed every day to check if it's growing. The constant interference would prevent it from taking root. The same is true for your desires. When you obsess over when and how they will manifest, you interfere with the natural unfolding of the process. Trust that the universe operates with perfect timing. The right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances will align when you are truly ready to receive them. Your job is not to force the timing but to stay in alignment, to continue raising your vibration, following the signs, and taking inspired action without attachment. When you shift from control to trust, from forcing to flowing, and from doubt to deep knowing, you step into a reality where life unfolds with ease. You no longer chase opportunities. You attract them effortlessly. You no longer question whether you are on the right path. You feel it deeply within you. This is the state of true co-creation, where you and the universe are working together, moving as one, orchestrating a life that is not just good but extraordinary. Embodying the supernatural. living as your future self every day. The journey from learning to being, becoming the manifestation of your own transformation. At this point in your journey, you have gone beyond simply understanding the mechanics of change. You have explored the power of thought, emotion, and identity. You have learned how to reprogram your subconscious mind, align with the energy of your desired future, and tap into the universal intelligence that orchestrates synchronicities and flow. But understanding is only the first step. The real transformation happens when you shift from learning to being, when you no longer have to remind yourself to practice these principles, because they have become an inseparable part of who you are. This is the final phase of becoming supernatural, not just applying the principles occasionally, but fully embodying them as your default state. It is the moment when you are no longer trying to manifest your future reality. You are already living it energetically, even before the external world reflects it back to you. And because you are living it internally with absolute certainty, the external world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your new vibration. But how do you maintain this state? How do you ensure that you don't slip back into old habits, doubts, or unconscious patterns? How do you stabilize your new identity so that you no longer have to practice being supernatural? You simply are. This final part is about integration. It is about making this new way of being so deeply ingrained that it becomes as natural as breathing. It is about reaching a point where your mind, body, and spirit are so aligned with your vision that every thought, action, and decision you make is effortlessly in harmony with your highest potential. One of the most common mistakes people make when manifesting is getting stuck in the state of wanting, rather than fully stepping into the state of knowing. Wanting something implies that it is separate from you, that you don't yet have it, and that there is still a gap between where you are and where you want to be. But knowing, that deep, unshakable certainty that your desire is already yours, collapses that gap entirely. Think about how you know things in your life right now. You don't wake up questioning whether the sun will rise or whether gravity will hold you to the ground. You just know. There is no effort, no doubt, no resistance. It is simply your reality. This is the state you must enter when it comes to your desires. You must shift from hoping and wishing to walking, talking, and living as if your manifestation is already done. This is not about pretending or forcing belief. It is about cultivating such a deep internal certainty that your subconscious, your energy, and your very being all operate as if your future is already your present. So how do you transition from wanting to knowing? The answer lies in three essential principles: embodiment, consistency, and emotional mastery. To fully integrate your transformation, you must become the person who already has the reality you desire. This means adopting the thoughts, emotions, habits, and behaviors of that version of you before anything in your external world changes. If you desire financial abundance, how does the wealthy version of you think and act? Does that person stress over bills or move through life with confidence and trust? If you want deep, fulfilling relationships, how does the version of you who already has them feel on a daily basis? Do they operate from insecurity and neediness, or from self-love and fulfillment? You must begin making decisions as if you are already that person. When you wake up in the morning, don't ask, "What do I need to do today?" Ask, "How would my future self approach this day?" Then act accordingly. This shift is not about faking it. It is about aligning so fully with your new identity that you naturally begin making choices that reflect it. And when you do, reality must follow. The difference between those who experience fleeting success with manifestation and those who fully transform their lives is consistency. Many people experience breakthroughs, but then gradually slip back into their old ways. Why? Because their new identity was never fully stabilized. If you want to make the supernatural your everyday reality, you must be relentlessly consistent in your practice. You cannot do the work for a few weeks and then revert back to old habits when life gets busy. This is not a temporary change. It is a lifelong commitment to living in alignment with your highest self. This doesn't mean forcing yourself into rigid routines or perfectionism. It means prioritizing your inner state above all else, every single day. Commit to daily meditative practice, whether it's visualization, breathwork, or deep stillness. Make it a non-negotiable part of your life. Surround yourself with reinforcement. Keep immersing yourself in the knowledge, people, and environments that support your evolution. Catch yourself slipping. If you notice old fears or doubts creeping in, don't judge yourself, but gently shift back into alignment. Consistency builds momentum. The longer you stay in this elevated state, the more it becomes second nature, and the faster your external reality reshapes to match. Perhaps the most challenging but powerful shift you can make is mastering your emotional state. Your emotions are your energy in motion. They dictate your vibration and signal to the universe what you are. Attracting. To truly embody the supernatural, you must no longer be reactive to external circumstances. This does not mean suppressing emotions. It means developing such deep emotional intelligence that no situation, challenge, or setback can pull you out of alignment. Practice detachment from outcomes. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even if you can't see it yet. Learn to neutralize negative emotions quickly. When something triggers you, instead of spiraling, practice shifting your state immediately. Cultivate living in a state of gratitude, feeling thankful for your present blessings and future gifts as if they have already arrived. Most people think they need to change their external reality to feel different, but in truth, changing your internal state first is what creates a new external reality. When you master the ability to sustain elevated emotions regardless of circumstances, you begin to tune into a new frequency, aligning yourself with the future you desire. And as your energy shifts, life starts responding differently to you. At the deepest level, becoming supernatural means remembering who you truly are. Beyond the conditioning, beyond the limitations, beyond the identities you've adopted throughout your life, there is a version of you that is already whole, already powerful, already connected to everything you could ever desire. The journey you've been on is not about becoming someone else. It's about stripping away the illusions that have kept you from recognizing your true nature. It's about aligning with the magnificent being you have always been beneath the layers of doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs. When you fully embody this understanding, manifestation ceases to be something you do and becomes simply who you are. You no longer need to try to create a better future because you are already living it, breathing it, being it in each moment. This is the true meaning of becoming supernatural, not gaining special powers or abilities, but remembering the infinite power that has always resided within you. It is about living from a place of such deep connection to the universal intelligence that you and it become indistinguishable, moving as one creative force. The world you experience is a reflection of this connection. When you are aligned with your highest self, life doesn't just happen to you, it happens through you and for you. Challenges become opportunities for growth, delays become perfect timing, and every experience becomes a sacred part of your journey. So as we come to the close of this audiobook, I invite you not to see this as an ending, but as the beginning of your new way of being. The principles and practices you've learned are not meant to be temporary fixes or occasional tools. They are meant to become your natural state of existence. Every day, you have the opportunity to choose who you will be, the limited self defined by past conditioning, or the unlimited self connected to infinite possibility. Every moment offers a new chance to align with your future rather than your past, to broadcast the signal of who you are becoming rather than who you have been. And remember, this journey is not about perfection. There will be days when old patterns resurface, when doubt creeps in, when your energy falters. This is part of being human. The key is not to judge these moments, but to gently guide yourself back to alignment, back to presence, back to the knowing that you are the creator of your reality. Your power does not lie in never falling. It lies in how quickly you can rise again, in how consistently you can choose the highest version of yourself regardless of external circumstances. You now have everything you need to live as your future self, to embody the supernatural in your everyday life. You understand the science, you know the practices, and most importantly, you have experienced the truth of who you really are. The only question that remains is, will you choose in each moment to be the miracle you've been waiting for? I believe you will. I believe you already are. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Remember, this is just the beginning. The future you desire is already here, already unfolding, already expressing itself through you. All you need to do is align with it, embody it, and watch as the universe conspires to make it your reality. Now go forward and live supernaturally, not as something you do, but as someone you are. If you've enjoyed this audiobook and found value in its teachings, I invite you to take a moment to share your thoughts. Your feedback helps others discover these transformational concepts and supports the spread of this knowledge to those who need it most. Consider subscribing to receive updates on future releases and exclusive content designed to support your ongoing journey of transformation. Your engagement creates a community of like-minded individuals all working to elevate their consciousness and create extraordinary lives. And please, if this audiobook has touched you, leave a rating or review. Share your experience with others who may be searching for the very wisdom you've just discovered. Your voice matters, and your story of transformation could be the catalyst someone else needs to begin their own journey. Remember, we are all connected in this field of infinite possibility. As you rise, you lift others. As you transform, you contribute to the collective awakening of humanity. Thank you for being part of this movement toward a higher consciousness, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you.